and perfecting this element. It was beautifully done.
Erica Stokes started on the balance beam in the all-around and comes up big in her third rotation with a 9.725.
That was a great score, especially considering she did a fairly simple dismount.
Second at the American Cup in March, Lance Ringwald, who really did well when you consider the slow start he got in the all-around competition to get all the way up to third position. He's up on the vault.
Totally focused on this event. A beautiful laid out, full twisting Yurchenko. Just a small hop on the landing. Lance is one of the few male gymnasts in the world and one of only two competitors in this competition to use that style approach on the ball. Watch, he'll do just like the women do, a round off onto the board, back handspring to the horse, and a beautiful laid out full off of the horse. Just that small step or hop on the landing.
Lance Ringwald with a 9.7, a great start in the vault. And as you can see, for the men, the vault is the length of the runway, while for the women, it is sideways.
And Lance will show us a more traditional vault here, a laid out full twisting Tsukahara. And wow, a fabulous landing. Completely rocked that one.
Lance Ringwald, one of the most experienced in the competition.
He has an excellent, powerful run. Good push off the horse here, way in the air. And he completely sticks this landing. That's what sets him apart from the competition. Vaulting, the most difficult men's event to stick.
Outstanding work by Ringwald in the fourth rotation for the men. And a 9.725 on that second vault will average things out to put Ringwald in the lead. Let's go back to the women's division now. Their third rotation is Kim Zmeskal. It's ready to mount the balance beam.
Unlike Erica Stokes, Kim doesn't have one trademark spectacular skill in this routine. She's great because her difficulty is distributed throughout her routine. She's so solid on this event. There's one of her requirements, the acrobatic skill into the dance element. And she's preparing for her first tumbling combination, back handspring, 2 layouts. Rock solid.
Kim is still looking, though, for her first gold medal in the individual finals in the third rotation.
And after the great job by Erica Stokes, it's going to be difficult. Kim will have to do a great routine here in order to take the gold. Here's her second tumbling combination, back handspring, layout. And actually, that's not a requirement. She puts 2 in there just to say, hey, look at me. I go for it.
And isn't that the overall objective? Take some chances. Be as creative as possible in the event finals. And we're seeing it right now from Kim Zmeskal.
Here comes her dismount. Round off, double back. Little hop on the landing, but that was a very solid, aggressive performance.
So Zmeskal will try to top her teammate from Bella Caroli's gym, Erica Stokes.
She performed a back handspring to 2 layout somersaults. Those are back flips in a stretch position, as you see there, with no hands. Well done. And her dismount is a round off, double back. We've talked a lot about difficulty. This is a D-level dismount. Nice height in the air, good rotation, and a little hop on the landing. She really doesn't need to cowboy or straddle her legs during her somersault. She has plenty of time.
A 9.8 gives Kim Zmeskal the lead on the balance beam, but still consulting with Bella Caroli, her coach, because Bella knows she is capable of even more. We'll be right back to Denver. The next on the balance beam, she is the youngest in the seniors division, just turning 13 this past March. She's also the smallest at 4 feet 4 inches, weighing only 60 pounds.
And Shannon may be small, but she does some really big tricks, and especially on this event. Her difficulty level equals or exceeds that of any gymnast in the competition.
Shannon's a straight A student. And her size, definitely an asset in gymnastics. But it can be tough on her at the dinner table. For her parents, use a telephone book to help her out.
And she doesn't look like she eats too much when she's there. Some aerial walkover. Now Shannon's preparing for a tumbling combination. Back handspring to 2 layouts. The same thing we saw from Kim Zmeskal. Right on.
It would be quite an accomplishment for such a young lady to pick up a medal in the finals on the balance beam.
She did not have one break in that routine. That was the best I've ever seen her do. Now here's her big dismount, a full twisting double back. There it is. Oh, and that is a real shame for Shannon.
It ruins what was otherwise almost a flawless performance.
She did a great job on the beam, but you have to admire her and her coach, Steve Nuno, for even attempting that dismount. She's the only American ever to compete this skill. We've seen many gymnasts do a double back off beam. Shannon does a full twist into the double back, and she just overturns it.
Well, you can see how upset she is. At times we forget how young some of these competitors are. A 9-2 for Shannon Miller on the balance beam. We move over to the 5th rotation for the men. And it's Bill Roth, one of the most explosive performers in the competition. His first vault, a 9-6 as he gets ready for his second.
Bill is a full blast competitor, and we certainly will see him explode here. He'll be doing a 1.5 twisting, laid out Sukahara. A big push. Oh, and a huge step on the landing. Completely off balance there.
Now you can see one of the reasons why he had problems with the landing. He had injured earlier his left knee. You can tell it's still bothering him.
Yeah, he's really had quite a few problems. It's been pretty well banged up. And let's watch here. He lands a little bit awkward. There's excellent repulsion off the horse. But you see that knee maybe buckle just a little bit. And when it's already a little bit sore, a landing like that, whether you land perfect or not, is going to cause some trauma.
His second vault, a 9.65. Averaging out to 9.625. Bill Roth from Temple University. Back to the balance beam in the women's division. Betty Aquino, without a doubt, one of the biggest surprises over the weekend.
You know, Betty finished second in the all-around. That was such a surprise. She was a relative unknown coming into this competition. Now, she was strong on all 4 events, but this event really showcases her long, lean body line. There's her tumbling combination. 2 layouts, beautifully done.
So far, so good for Betty Aquino, and she needs it to be almost perfect. She needs to top a 9.8 by Zmeskal to take first place on the balance beam.
Look at that. Most of the gymnasts have their difficulty in the tumbling elements. That was a double turn on the beam. A dance element worth a D level.
Betty Aquino has plenty of dance experience. She competed nationally in tap dance competitions with her brother Edward. Betty was born in Africa, moved to Romania, and came to the United States at the age of 2.
Here's her dismount, 2 back handsprings to a double back. That is an extremely difficult combination.
Pretty tough to top a performance like that. There's her coach, Marta Caroli, who actually coaches the young ladies on the balance beam.
And Marta should be very proud of her gymnast performance on this event.
So Betty Aquino with a spectacular performance.
Here's a show of flexibility. Look at that. 180-degree split and her back bent at a right angle. Right into a strength move.
She needs better than a 9.8 to take the gold and top her teammate.
Here's her dismount. 2 back handsprings into a double back. This combination is worth 2/10 bonus points. It's actually valued the same as Shannon Miller's dismount.
She nailed the dismount as she waits for the results. Needs to beat the 9.8. Did she? Agonizing. 9.825, and Betty Aquino has taken the gold in the balance beam. And what a celebration it is for the entire Caroli crew. As they swept the balance beam, Betty Aquino taking the gold away from her teammate. Right at her side, Kim Zmeskal. And it gives us an opportunity to take a look at the final standings on the balance beam. A clean sweep for Caroli's gym in Houston, Texas. Aquino, Zmeskal, and Stokes. And the final of the men's vault, Ringnauld taking the gold as he's followed by Bill Roth and the 17-year-old Carrie Houston. We'll be right back to Denver. Welcome back once again to the U.S. Gymnastics Championships in Denver. There's our all-around national champion, Kim Zmeskal, getting ready for her final event, the floor exercise. She is coached by Bella Caroli, one of the most expressive in the sport. Sometimes, though, you hear grunts and groans out of Bella. We asked Kim if that ever created a problem.
Yeah, when we first started, like, especially when, you know, kids move down, and they're like, he sits there and he's talking to me, and you just sit there and you smile, and you're like, I have no idea what you're saying to me. But you're like, okay, I'll smile anyways.
Now the new national champion tries to win her first individual title. And let's watch as her personality really shines through on the floor. Great performance by Kim Zmeskal. Her mom and dad look on, who made the trek and drove all the way from Houston, Texas.
Kim is strong and powerful, but what you really appreciate is her personality and just sitting back and watching.